Hi, you guys. Happy St. Patrick's Day. It is March 17th, 2020. This video is going to be a continuation from my last video, which asked, is the coronavirus a cover for mass arrests? If you haven't subscribed to this video already, please hit subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I'm just going to get right into it, but real quickly, I want to tell you what else I'm going to be talking about. I'm also going to be talking about how all the elites are getting sick, and I'm going to cover General Flynn and an announcement that his lawyer made the other day that relates to Pizzagate, which is at the crux of everything that is happening right now. So it's really important for people to understand Pizzagate, to understand why all the craziness is happening right now. And I also will talk a little bit about how censorship and algorithms have been lifted on Twitter and Google, or at least they appear to be as of last night. All right, so in my last video, I presented a theory that I believe that the coronavirus is being used as a cover for the White Hats to go in to conduct mass arrests of the criminal cabal members. And I want to make this very clear. I do not believe the coronavirus isn't real or is fake. I do believe that it's not as serious as the mainstream media is claiming it is, number one. I also believe that this virus was created by the cabal, specifically Bill Gates. And I also believe that the good guys, the White Hats, knew that they were going to release this virus, and they intercepted their plans to use this virus as a false flag. And they are now using their plans with the virus against them by using the virus as an excuse to lock down the country and many other countries so the military can go in and safely conduct these raids and military operations to sweep up these criminals. All right? So, again, I do believe the coronavirus is real. I don't think it's as serious as the mainstream media is claiming it is. And I believe that the White Hats are using this as an opportunity to keep people in their homes so they're safe while they conduct these military operations and raids and mass arrests, all right? So let's talk about what has happened since my last video. In my last video, I talked about how I think at that point in time, there were about 300 members of the CJNG cartel who were arrested, okay? This was in California. The CJNG cartel is used by the deep state to do their dirty work, just like MS-13. Since my last video, which was a few days ago, there have been 750 arrests of the CJNG cartel members. In addition to that, it was announced the other day that 17 members of MS-13, which is also used by the cabal as deep state foot soldiers to do their dirty work, MS-13, they were the thugs that were behind the murder of Seth Rich. 17 members of MS-13 were arrested and indicted, okay? The DOJ released a press release about these 17 MS-13 members who were arrested. And in the press release, it said that these arrests were sealed indictments that have been unsealed. So as of now, we have over 150,000 sealed indictments sitting in courthouses across the United States. These sealed indictments are slowly being unsealed, and we're seeing the mass arrests happening. Now, I believe that the mass arrests that happened with the CJNG cartel members were because the White Hats, the good guys, they are focusing on arresting the lower hanging fruits now. So when the bigger arrests happen with the bigger fish, the lower level members who are the ones who would go out and riot and be behind false flags, school shootings, loot, you name it, they're going to be off the streets. So all of those thugs that you saw rioting and breaking into businesses and just wreaking havoc after President Trump won the election, a lot of those criminals were funded by deep state cabal members like George Soros. So what the White Hats are doing now is they're getting all the lower level criminals off the streets. So when these mass arrests happen, they won't be able to go out into the streets and create a civil war. All right? Okay. So I believe that the deep state is absolutely behind the coronavirus. As most of you know, and a lot of you have already researched it, but Bill Gates owns the patent for the coronavirus. President Trump gave a press conference the other day, and in that press conference, he said, we know where the virus came from. Within minutes, less than 10 minutes, you guys, of President Trump ending that press conference, Bill Gates stepped down from Microsoft. All right? So people that have been following Q for years now, you know that the White Hats have been putting these cabal members in submission for years. And that's why we've seen literally thousands and thousands of cabal members leaving their positions as CEOs or politicians, whatever their job is. We've seen thousands of them step down from their positions and or resign. Okay? They're all being put into submission. Okay? All right. And again, I just want to reiterate, I do believe that the coronavirus is real. I don't believe it's as serious as the mainstream media is claiming it is. But I believe the White Hats found out about the cabal's plans with this virus, and they were able to intercept their false flag plans for this virus and use it to their advantage. They're taking their Saul Alinsky tactics, never let a good crisis go to waste, and throwing it in their face. So I believe, again, this virus is real. I don't believe it's as serious as the mainstream media is claiming it is. And I believe that the White Hats are using this as a cover to get people off the streets, people in their homes, and people safe. So when the bigger arrests happen of the bigger fish, people are safe and they're in their homes, and there's not civil war, there's not riots, and there's not civil unrest. Okay? All right. So since my last video, what else have we seen happen? There have been 298 Saudi Arabian officials, government officials, who have been arrested. This happened 2 days ago. Now, this is so important to understand because Saudi Arabia is at the top of the global child sex trafficking networks. And people who follow Q know that back in 2017, there were 30 members of the Saudi royal family who were arrested. Now, many of these family members are involved in child sex trafficking, and not only that, they are deeply embedded with our cabal politicians here in the United States. So, for example, Prince Alawid Talal, I think that's how you pronounce his name, he was arrested in the 2017 sweep. He owns 7% of News Corporation, which owns Fox News Channel, by the way. He's a big shareholder in Euro Disney, and he also invested $300 million in Twitter. So you wonder why Fox News covered up Pizzagate. You wonder why Twitter has kicked me off and other people exposing Pizzagate. And we all know that trafficking goes on at Disneyland. So it's no coincidence. And what happened back in 2017 is President Trump made a deal with King Salman for them to take down their rogue royal family members that were funding our corrupt politicians like Hillary Clinton and John McCain, and to arrest these people. And Q has told us that the mass arrests and the mass cleanup would take place in Saudi Arabia first. And Q said the next country it would take place in is the United States. So we had the first big sweep in Saudi Arabia happen in 2017. And now we just had an even bigger sweep. Think about it. 300 members of their government were arrested 2 days ago. Q told us this was going to happen. And Q said the United States is next. So again, I don't know for sure. I can't say for sure that tomorrow we're going to wake up and we're going to see Hillary Clinton and other cabal politicians behind bars. But everything is lining up for that to happen. And if you read Q, and if you read Q's post, and I encourage everybody to go back to read the Saudi Arabia drops because they're so significant to what is happening now in this country. Everything is pointing to this is happening now, okay? Okay, the U.S. Marshals announced that they had an operation called March Madness where 122 people were arrested. Again, if you follow Q and you go back to Q's drops from March of either 2019 or 2018, Q talked about March Madness. So no coincidence that there was another mass arrest, and the operation is called March Madness, which Q talked about 1 year or 2 years ago, and there were 122 people arrested in that sweep. So these mass arrests are happening. MS-13, the U.S. Marshals conducted mass arrests, and we also have 715 members of the CJNG cartel. The mass arrests are happening. And again, I know they're not the arrests that everybody wants to see, but if you're going to break up a powerful crime network, you have to start at the bottom. And that is what is happening. And that was actually what has been happening for the past 3 years. There has been many sting operations where many people have gotten arrested, specifically with pedophiles, but the mainstream media has not reported it. They have barely reported any of it. Okay, so let's talk about more signs that these mass arrests are actually happening. In my last video, I talked about how there's an operation going on right now where 30,000 of U.S. troops have been shipped to Europe for a military exercise called Defender 2020. Now, I believe, and I'm pretty sure I said this in my last video, that this military exercise is not an exercise. That our military is actually going to Europe to assist Allied troops in the mass arrest with members of the cabal in Europe. Okay? So someone on Twitter tweeted today that Defender 2020 has Defender 2020 shifted from a drill to an Allied expeditionary force mission. Joe M. at Storm is Upon Us on Twitter wrote, "Why do German authorities have no idea why the U.S. military is making its largest deployment on their soil in 25 years? Because Merkel is no longer running the show. Once again, America is liberating Europe from the bonds of fascist tyranny. And this time, they don't even know it." So, again, this backs up my theory. Defender 2020 is not a military exercise. Our troops are going over there. They're not wearing masks. They're not wearing hazmat suits. They're not going there for military exercise. They're not going over there because of the coronavirus. They're going over there to help Allied troops conduct mass arrests of the members of the cabal in Europe. And by the way, Q said that the sweep would first happen in Saudi Arabia, then it would happen in Europe, and then other countries other continents would follow after that. Okay, more proof that these mass arrests are happening. What else has happened? The National Guard. The National Guard has been called in multiple cities. The last report I read stated that they are active in 22 states. Furthermore, the Marines are setting up the quarantine camps. Now, the quarantine camps that have been set up, they have been set up in 11 different cities. The cities that the quarantine camps have been set up in are in the cities and or areas that have the highest concentration of sealed indictments. So this is a theory, but I believe that these quarantine camps are actually camps that they're going to use to detain prisoners after these mass arrests have been conducted. Again, it's just a theory, but if you study Q and you follow Q's post, everything is pointing in that direction. So we have now the National Guard has been called in 22 states. We have the Marines setting up these quarantine camps. There's 11. The last report I read was there's 11 quarantine camps that are being set up. The Marines are setting them up. All right. Let me read you this post that Q posted October 31st, 2017. The National Guard and the Marines. Who controls the National Guard? Why was the National Guard recently activated in select cities within the U.S.? Can the National Guard work in coordination with the Marines? Do conditions need to be satisfied to authorize? What former president used the military to save the republic, and what occurred exactly? Biggest drop to ever be provided on poll. Study and prepare. The masses tend to panic in such situations. No war, no civil unrest, clean and swift. Okay? People that follow Q know that Q's posts do not go into effect right away necessarily. Q says future proves past. I believe what Q means by that is that Q's past posts will be proven to be true in the future. So Q will post something and it won't go into effect or be relevant till maybe 1 or 2 years later. This post about the National Guard and the Marines, I believe, is about the Marines and the National Guard coming in to conduct these mass arrests. This is one of Q's first posts, and I believe now it is now relevant. All right? And again, I believe that the coronavirus is being used as the cover to bring in the Marines and bring into the National Guard under the guise of this pandemic, so people don't freak out, so people don't take to the streets, and so people don't go out and loot and go crazy and create a civil war. I believe that the virus is the cover to bring in the National Guard and bring in the Marines to conduct these mass arrests. All right. One more interesting note. The coronavirus lockdown helped Italian police arrest leading mobster Cesare Corti. Okay, so that is an example of how the coronavirus lockdown has been used in Italy to take out a big fish, a big criminal. And again, I believe that not only is this pandemic being used as a cover by the white hats to take out people here, I believe it's being used as a cover to take out the global cabal. And there's allied troops around the world and white hats around the world that are joining forces with our U.S. troops to conduct this. And just one more interesting note, the Irish Prime Minister today gave a news conference and said, in the conference, the storm is upon us. We all know that's a Q phrase. All right, so I'm going to get into the elites getting sick. So we have seen dozens and dozens, maybe hundreds of members of the cabal come out and say they're either infected with the coronavirus or they're sick. We know like Tom Hanks and his wife. A lot of celebrities have said that they're not necessarily sick, but they're self-quarantining. People like Kathy Griffin. We have a lot of these famous talk show hosts self-quarantining. We have a lot of politicians and members of government who've been infected with the coronavirus. Justin Trudeau's wife has the coronavirus. And right before I started this video, I read online that someone from the fake news New York Times has this virus. All right. This is bizarre. This is odd. Let me read you Joe M's tweets about these elites conducting, or all these elites getting infected with the coronavirus. He wrote, there are 1,600 cases of the coronavirus in the U.S. 1% of cases, 16 are famous politicians or celebrities. 0.00041% of the population are famous. Per capita, rich people with bodyguards are 2,400 times more likely to contract the virus, not buying it. This was a couple days ago, so those numbers are a little higher. But the percentage stays the same. Then Joe tweeted today a reminder: only 0.00041% of the population are famous, but they are at least 1% of all the reported cases. The people do not buy it for 1 minute. Okay? So, again, this is just more evidence that my theory that the coronavirus is being used as a cover to conduct mass arrest. So what I believe is happening with this is there's two possibilities that are plausible. One is the members of the elite that are self-quarantining and claiming that they have the coronavirus are possibly using this as an excuse to try to escape. And this is their cover for why they're not going to be doing their talk shows, and they're not going to be on their movie sets, and they're not going to be in public. This is their excuse as to why they have virtually disappeared. Because they're self-quarantining because they either have the virus or they think they're high risk or whatever, okay? So that's one theory. Number two is they know they're screwed. The White Hats are completely controlling these people. And until they release the information to the public that these people have been arrested, people are going to need an explanation as to where all these elites and famous people have gone. So they're in submission, and the White Hats are allowing them to say that they have the coronavirus to keep people calm until all these military operations have been conducted. Third theory, I actually have three theories. The third theory, and I'm just going to report, you decide if you believe this is plausible or not, but there's a lot of Anons that believe that the White Hats tainted the elites' adrenochrome supply with the coronavirus, and that's why so many members of the elites are getting the coronavirus, if indeed they do have the coronavirus. So adrenochrome is a drug that the elites love. It comes from children. The drug is extracted from the pituitary gland of tortured children. It's sold on the black market. It's the drug of the elites. It's their favorite drug. It is beyond evil. It's demonic. It is so sick. So there is a theory that the White Hats tainted their adrenochrome supply with the coronavirus. Again, it's just a theory. I don't know if it's true. Nothing would surprise me. So it's something to think about it. And there's a lot more information on that online. So go online and you can read more about it. And by the way, the molecular makeup of the I believe it's the coronavirus. Or maybe it's adrenochrome is a rabbit. And what does Q say? Follow the white rabbit. And white rabbits are code words used by the elite for the child sex trafficking. Anyways, okay, back on track. I want to talk about General Flynn. So General Flynn's lawyer made a statement about Anthony Weiner's laptop. This video surfaced the other day. General Flynn's lawyer, Sidney Powell, was at an event, and she was talking about the contents that were found on Anthony Weiner's laptop. So I'm going to read to you what she said. 675,000 Clinton emails when they got Anthony Weiner's laptop in a search warrant because of all of his sex perversion issues. It was all the Clinton emails, her foundation, Secretary of State emails, Uma Abedin's emails. Lots of people emailed Uma as a proxy to Hillary. So one of the things, if I was president, is demand the Anthony Weiner laptop and get it to the most trusted person in the military to take everything apart on it and start using it. There's a lot that can be prosecuted, I have no doubt, on that laptop. In fact, I heard that the New York police officers who saw some of it even though their hardened investigators had to go throw up. It's bad. Sidney Powell, you can find the video on my Instagram at Liz Crokin or on my Facebook page. All right, so she made that statement, and I think on the same day, President Trump tweeted, so now it's reported that after destroying his life and the life of his wonderful family and many others, the FBI, working in conjunction with the Justice Department, has lost the records of General Michael Flynn. How convenient. I am strongly considering a full pardon. Okay. In 2016, the Podesta emails came out, and they were littered with pedophile code words like pizza, hot dogs, walnut sauce. All right? Around the same time period, the NYPD seized Anthony Weiner's laptop because he was sexting with minors. There was a file on this laptop called life insurance. In this file, they found evidence of Hillary Clinton and her subordinates sexually abusing and torturing children. The evidence included video footage of these people, yes, including Hillary Clinton, sexually abusing children. True Pundit broke the story in 2016. This was the headline if you want to Google it. Breaking bombshell. NYPD blows the whistle on new Hillary emails. Money laundering, sex crimes with children, child exploitation, pay to play, and perjury. Okay? After this story came out, this General Flynn tweeted the story, and this is what he wrote. You decide. NYPD blows a whistle on new Hillary emails. Money laundering, sex crimes with children, etc. Must read. I believe this is the main reason why they went after General Flynn. General Flynn blew the whistle on Pizzagate. General Flynn knows. General Flynn knows where the bodies are buried. He knows Pizzagate is real. He told us, he tweeted about it. And he knows that there's video footage on that laptop proving that these disgusting people are raping and torturing children. I have been screaming from the rooftops about the footage that was found on Anthony Weiner's laptop. I laugh because his last name is Weiner. On Anthony Weiner's laptop for 4 long years now, all right? And now we have his lawyer publicly coming out and talking about the contents that was found on this laptop. This is Pizzagate. This is why we are on lockdown. This is why the world is quarantined or self-quarantined. What the Q operation, Trump's presidency, and everything that's going on right now, all the chaos boils down to is saving the children. Pizzagate is at the epicenter of all of this. That's why it is so important for you to understand Pizzagate. You need to understand that Pizzagate is real, and that's why these mass arrests are happening, because these people have been not only raping kids, they've been torturing them, they use them as slaves, they've been extracting like adrenochrome from their brain. The stuff these people do to children is so disgusting. I can't even talk about a lot of it in this video because it'd be taken down. Final thoughts. I want to talk about Twitter and Google. It appears that the White Hats are in control, or at least partial control, of Twitter and Google. If you go do a Google search now and you type in adrenochrome, you will get the true definition of what adrenochrome is. If you go into Google Images and you type in Pizzagate or Ray Chandler or Hillary Clinton crimes against children, you will get the truth about Pizzagate. You will get the truth about how Hillary Clinton is involved in crimes against children. So it looks like the White Hats are taking over control of Google, which is good. I have been reporting since 2016 that Google was used to help get Hillary get elected, which obviously didn't work. And Google was also used to trash Trump and try to hurt his presidency and his campaign. Google's been manipulated for years to keep the truth from you. So, for example, when Pizzagate came out, it was in the Urban Dictionary and it was on other websites that pizza is a pedophile code word. As soon as the Podesta emails came out, all the evidence of pizza being used as a code word for pedophiles were scrubbed. So I'm sitting here tweeting about this and doing videos talking about how pizza is a pedophile code word, but then normies are going on Google and they're Googling, pizza pedophile code word and nothing's showing up. That's because these assholes scrubbed it all. They scrubbed it all. They scrubbed it all so you couldn't get the truth. They have hidden the truth from you for years, all right? But the good news is it appears that the White Hats are taking control of Google and they're lifting some of those algorithms that have censored the truth, which is amazing. Twitter. I believe the same thing is happening on Twitter. Most of you know I was kicked off Twitter in 2018. After I was kicked off of Twitter, with no explanation, by the way, no explanation to this day, even though my lawyer has sent several letters, someone created a fake Liz Crokin, and they assumed my identity, they used my likeness, they used my name, they used photos that I owned, and they pretended to be me. And they said very slanderous things, and they tweeted things that just were ridiculous, things that I would never say. They made me look ridiculous. And I have been reporting this account for a year and a half now. Hundreds of you have reported that account. And things escalated the past few days because this imposter tweeted out that you should not wash your hands during this pandemic, which is something that I obviously would never say and I would never advise. And so my lawyer had to take further action to get this account taken down because it was dangerous and it was spreading dangerous information. Well, last night, that account was finally suspended. Not only was that account suspended, the Satan account at S, the number 8, and then N, which Q has posted about, which was used by pedophiles in Hollywood to do nefarious business, I imagine, to traffic children. That account was suspended last night too. Furthermore, Twitter has cleaned up its search engine. So previously, when you tried to get President Trump's handle or Don Jr.'s handle and you type in Donald Trump or President Trump or Don Jr. in the search engine, Don Jr.'s name would show up like as the 15th person, and all the people that show up above him would be imposter Don Jr. accounts, fake Don Jr.'s or other Don Jr.'s. And obviously he's the most followed Don Jr. there is. So there was all this censorship and shadow banning and suppression, even with the president's account and his son. Well, that's been lifted. So now when you search Don Jr.'s name and President Trump's name, it's the top person that shows up. Interestingly enough, what did Q post a year ago? Q wrote, Jack Dorsey showed his hand. Thanks for playing. At Jack showing your hand was the intended target. The strike will be fast. Shall we play a game? At Jack, who has the real control? Can you remove the top comments? And Q also posted a year ago from today, 1 year delta, Patriots in control of Twitter, ? So the fake Liz Crokin's taken down. The disgusting Satan account was taken down. Shadow bans and some censorship on Twitter has been lifted. The real Liz Crokin, my real account, has not been activated again. I'm working on that with my lawyer. So hopefully that will happen one day. But this was pretty awesome victory that this fake Liz Crokin was finally taken down. It had 10,000 followers, and people were calling for my death the other day when the fake Liz Crokin was telling people not to wash their hands. So, that account had 10,000 followers, and a lot of people didn't know that it was a fake account, and it was causing all kinds of problems for me. And that's just one of the many, many, many examples of how the deep state is constantly messing with me, and I have to spend a lot of my time dealing with this bullshit. And if I didn't have to deal with this week, then I would have got another video out to you sooner, but it is what it is. Anyway, so, okay, that's my update for today. Again, please subscribe to my account. If you want to donate to my work, you can donate at paypal.me/Liz Crokin. If you want to buy one of my Q hats, you can go on to liz-crokin.myshopify.com. All right, guys, stay safe, stay calm, and stock up on enough food for about 14 days. And I just say enjoy the show and keep praying.